How do you know when it's okay to stop worrying about your dog?
Welcome to The Dog Who Asked for More, the podcast for dog parents navigating the messy, complicated parts of life with a dog. Here you'll gain confidence in your decisions, deepen your connection with your dog, and finally feel seen in something you've never been able to say out loud.
I'm Em, dog mom, retired vet tech, dog trainer, and canine nutritionist. And if you've ever left your dog at home, in the car, or in an RV and found yourself checking your phone, wondering if they were okay, this episode is for you. Today, we're talking about something I think a lot of us feel but don't always talk about: the mental load of leaving our dogs behind. How do we know they're safe? How do we know they're comfortable? And how do we give ourselves permission to enjoy where we are without constantly wondering what's happening back home? Kylie, can you tell me the story of how Waggle got started?
Waggle really got started thinking about all these pet parents who are going on these amazing trips with their pets, and all you had was a camera. And we thought, we need more than that. You need peace of mind, which is more than just seeing what's going on. So we created this pet temperature monitor in addition to all our camera lineups. It's eyes on your pets, and it's tracking the environment, everything that's going on, whether it's the temperature, the humidity, the dew points, is your electricity still running, all of that. We created this product thinking about pet parents and how do we give them peace of mind when they're leaving them behind.
And it's such an important thing I have learned so recently by using Waggle temperature monitoring and camera. When I'm not here or when I'm traveling with them, it's just so much easier to be able to check in and have that, okay, everything's good. Because you always assume that your dog is fine. But then you come home and the kennel is broken, or the dog is panting, or maybe their face is all scratched up because they've been freaking out, or maybe they've escaped the kennel entirely, or maybe you're at the vet because they're stuck halfway out of the kennel. And those are all things that if you had some kind of notification system, you would be able to attend to faster. Add in the temperature monitoring, and you have just so much more safety, even if it is just in your home or in an RV and the power goes out. It's just such a cool thing. I think a lot of people automatically go, oh yeah, pet monitoring, it's a camera.
Yeah.
But like you said, Waggle is so much more than that. Do you have a customer story about a time when needing more than just a camera was really important?
Yeah, we have a lot of stories. We have one that always comes to mind when I'm talking about this. His name's Shane Gentry. He's actually a dog trainer. He does continuing education for vets, and he travels with his dog, Lemmy, in their Sprinter van, whether he's going to a client or he's teaching these seminars. And he gave us a story one time where he just was beginning a seminar. Lemmy was in the Sprinter van with the AC running, and they were using the camera and the temperature monitor. And he started getting notifications on his phone. And he's like, okay, my dog's right outside in the Sprinter van in the parking lot. Let me pause this and let me run out and check and see whether it's a malfunction or is something going on. And luckily, he was just 5 minutes away. He ran outside. It was the middle of North Carolina summer. We're hitting 100 degrees. And he got out there and his ceiling AC had broken down. So within a few minutes, his van was already 100 degrees. So luckily, like I said, he was able to, one, get that notification and get out there. If you just had a camera, how would you know that was going on? These are the stories where you think like, okay, wow, this story ended well. We've also heard other stories from customers where they did not have Waggle. And unfortunately, they got back to their RV and their pets weren't with us anymore. And that's when they got a camera. There are those happy stories, and then there's unfortunately not so happy stories. It's that peace of mind of knowing, especially in a story I was just telling you, if he could not get to his van, that would have also been fine. Call a first responder. Having that data is what's critical.
That's such a good point. That's something that a lot of people don't think about. So I'm really glad that you mentioned that you can call a first responder, because honestly, I don't know that I would have thought of that. Maybe I travel and I leave Fitz in the car for a minute and the air conditioning is running, but I'm starting to get alerts and I can't, for whatever reason, get back there. I can call 911. I can have somebody go bust my car windows and get my dog out. I don't have a problem with that. That's such a great reminder. And even if it's not a first responder, even if you know the person that's next to you in the RV lot or the park or whatever, and you can have them go get your pets out. That's a huge thing. Do you have a story where a temperature monitor or power alerts or any kind of remote monitoring like changed the outcome for a dog?
We hear those stories all day. We have this amazing subscription as well, where it's a month to month. So it could be for those travelers that just go camping a couple times a year. It gives them peace of mind for those 2 months. Here at my house, I don't use a temperature monitor. I use the 4G camera every day, all day.
It's just really surprising how many people continue to go into these situations unprepared. And I don't mean that in a negative way. I mean that as in that was the standard for
Yeah.
so many years
Yeah.
that people maybe don't know that they can look for options
Yeah.
like Waggle to
Yeah.
help them in their travels or even at home. I use my Waggle camera at home too
Yeah.
to check on Fitz.
I have the 4G mini camera that I'm obsessed with because it rotates around, but also when I go to Airbnbs, I'm not worried about trying to jump on someone else's Wi-Fi. I have it already set up on my phone. I know how it works. I'm set. But also the little one who throws out the treats, we have that one. And Rocky's chill. He just lays in his bed, but I'll do like little ding, 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 and he runs over to the camera before it throws a treat out. There's so many options on the camera line, and they all have different fun purposes.
I have the 4G mini cam and I love it, like you said, because it moves and because it has its own 4G. But I also like it because it has the day mode and the night mode. So even if it's dark, I can still see and it has a light that turns on. It's really neat, all of the functions that you guys have. And another function that you guys have, which I'd love to talk about just for a second because I don't use it, is the two-way microphone. I don't personally use it because I've not worked with it yet. I haven't trained Fitz with it yet. And I would never want to be somewhere and just assume that he would be fine hearing my voice and then him be freaking out in his kennel or
Where are you?
something. Because, where are you? Why can't I get to you? Why aren't you letting me out? Because if he's laying there perfectly relaxed, I'm not going to agitate him. But if he's not relaxed, that just means I need to get home. So that is something that I definitely want to work on with him and see while I'm home, go upstairs and do it kind of thing so that I can get right down to him. But it is a really neat function. I would caution anybody who's never used one to practice with your dog first.
Well, every dog has their different temperaments, like you said. So Fitz and Maya, twins. Maya would be going crazy, like, why are you not here? She knows how to open doors. She would be opening every door in this house to try and find me. And then there's Rocky, who I'd be like, hey, Rocky, come over here. And he'd like run to the camera, like thinking it was a joke. We also have some ambassadors who love it. Like you said, one, train your dog with it and also understand your dog's temperament. What do they enjoy? What do they not enjoy? Have fun with it or use it as a tool where like maybe you don't know you have a dog with separation anxiety. What part of the room are they in? Where in the house are they? What are they doing? If they understand that almost like a recall, it could be a really good training tool that way as well.
Also for puppies or even a new dog that you get from a rescue, you don't know how that dog's going to do when you leave because one, if it's puppy, it's probably never had any training. If it's a rescue dog, it's probably never had any training. And now it's settling into this new life. And this is a way that gives you a mental break. That's something I talk about a lot on this show. We as humans need that mental break. We need our us time to go to the mall or go to the grocery shop or whatever it is that we need to do. Maybe we need to go massage or something. We need to do something that's not at home. And sometimes just have that little bit of me time, solo trip to Starbucks kind of thing. You just need it. And so if you're training your dog and you have that camera to help you with it, how much easier that is going to be for you because one, you're going to know that you can check in and two, you're going to be able to see that everything's okay. Again, that's how I felt with Fitz. Recently, we went to South Dakota. We went to Roughland Kennels for a day and I took Fitz with me and we got an Airbnb and I left him there in his kennel while I was at Roughland all day. And it was so nice to be able to just check in on him and see how he was doing. And the way that I set up his kennel, there was like a little kitchen that had like an inset, but I pulled his kennel just far enough so that he could look around the corner and I put on dog TV for him. And it was ducks and squirrels. And so every time there was a motion detector, it was literally him just bouncing his head up because he was watching the ducks and the squirrels. So it's fun to see how he was doing. And then he would just lay down and go to sleep. So it's really comforting, but it's also validating too, because you can see that your training is working and that they're comfortable and that they feel safe and they're able to relax. So such a gift.
The pet parent sometimes needs that data more than the dog actually needs the camera on them. Like you said, just knowing he's in a new place and he's safe, he's comfortable and he's watching his TV. That means you be able to enjoy that event at Roughland so much more.
We talked about how we feel about this whole thing and how we use our cameras, but you hear a lot of stories from pet parents. What have you learned about what people are really looking for when they're checking in on their dog?
Like we just said, I think that peace of mind that, like you said, their training's working, but also that the pet's fine without you. your pet's not having FOMO like you're having FOMO. A lot of our community is these full-time RVers or serious 3-month campers. And sometimes the dog doesn't want to be on the go all day. They're happy to go lay on the couch for a few hours. So peace of mind is what we're seeing, whether that's just their safety with the temperature monitor and the camera. That's the biggest part, right? We all just want to make sure that our pets who are our family are safe. But also just seeing that they're comfortable. I think that's really that gives people that peace of mind to be like, oh, wait, I can enjoy myself a little bit too while they're at home enjoying themselves. That's really what we've seen, and that's rewarding.
Such a cool thing to be able to work in a corner of the industry where it's positive benefits. Obviously, some probably pretty sad stories that you guys also hear on both ends of the spectrum. I'm sure that there have been times where you hear sad stories because people don't have Waggle, but then there's probably other stories when maybe Waggle didn't work. What do you guys do to make Waggle better so that you have less of those stories on your end?
We've been listening to what everyone's been saying. We just upgraded our temperature monitor, so it's even more sensitive, and we're here for them. So if there's something that's going on, call us, message us. I'm unfortunately on my phone way too much. You have access to Kylie whenever you need it, listening to the customers, learning from what's been going on, learning from an event, and how can we continue to support all pet parents and make sure that they have that peace of mind to trust Waggle and to trust that their pet is safe.
So important too. Obviously, there's going to be mishaps no matter what, right? No
Mhm.
matter if it's food, if it's temperature monitoring, if it's kennels, like there's always going to be something. But a company that's willing to learn and grow from customer feedback, that's top notch, in my opinion.
This is where the camera started with me. Maya was a foster fail. So in the beginning of her time with us, and I would jump in and there are dog treat bags all over the floors. And she had learned how to open our cabinets of where the dog treats were. And every time I would leave, she would go and get the dog treat bags and bring them to her and Rocky. I thought I was losing my mind because every time I would leave, I'd leave them like a little treat or a bone or whatever. So watching on the camera, I literally had to get someone over because I was like, my dog has access to 5 treat bags. That's not safe. And so I would call up a neighbor. But yeah, all these different funny events that like sometimes super serious and sometimes your dog is just funny. So caught on
I
camera.
love it. Caught red-handed. Before we wrap up, I want to pause for something I call answering the ask. This is a moment where we stop trying to fix and start trying to communicate. Can you share a story about someone who thought they were checking on their dog, but realized they were really looking for confidence that their dog was safe, and how it changed the way they traveled or spent their time away?
Well, my Maya's a little bit of her story. She was a death row save from our county shelter in South Florida. She's a pity mix, so she is banned in Miami. She had been returned and she was set to be euthanized and she was a long-term resident at the shelter. We went and grabbed her. She became our foster. She's been with us for a really long time now. She's 9 years old. But we know she had been returned about 4 times is what we were told. Obviously had been through some trauma, as many of these rescue pets have. So leaving her behind with my other dog, Rocky, that was scary in its own. I don't know this dog super well yet. She's with my firstborn. So having that camera for my own peace of mind, knowing I saved this dog, but my first priority still needs to be with Rocky. So we went through all this training, learning how to use the camera, how to put her in a crate, how to keep her safe. Train her for the crate. I've never had a dog in a crate before. My whole childhood, I have always had a dog. In college, I've fostered. I've always had a dog at my side, and I've never dealt with a dog with trauma before. So trying to crate train was something I was not used to. Learning all these tools, learning a dog with aggression, I had just never been exposed to any of this. So I had so much anxiety leaving her that I was doing the wrong thing. Like maybe there's someone better out there for her than me if I have to put her in a crate. And so having that camera, knowing that I could check in, she's just literally laying in a crate, sleeping. We've been out for a walk. She's had a treat. It gave me that peace of mind of knowing I'm doing the right thing for her right now. Your pet's safety needs to always be your top priority, not letting them run wild with a ball. Sometimes that's a part of all parenthood, right? You're a dog parent, you're a human parent. Their safety needs to be the top priority, not being their best friend sometimes. So learning how to use these tools with her was instrumental, and being able to watch it and be like, oh, wait, putting her in this crate isn't the worst thing I could be doing right now. She's happy and she's safe and she's loved and she has a roof over her head kind of thing. So watching all of that, that gave me so much peace of mind. I'm like, hey, wait, I'm doing the right thing. These are stories that we hear a lot. These tools are letting pet parents know that they're doing the right thing sometimes. Like you said, go fill your cup, go have a Starbucks. Sometimes these are things you don't have to do with your pet by your side. You're not a bad pet parent by leaving them at home.
I love that you said that because that is such a pillar of this community. One, fill your own cup. But two, everything that's out there on the internet is so contradictory, and really learning to do what's best for your dog, regardless of what other people think and say. Fitz does not have an off switch. He goes in a kennel because I don't want him to annoy the heck out of my 15-year-old Chihuahua mix. There are things that we have to do for our peace of mind so that we can leave the house and that it's safe for everybody. And it's not wrong to crate your dog. It's not wrong to need time for yourself. It's such an important message. And Waggle giving you tools to make that leaving easier is just such an incredible gift that you guys can give the community. If somebody listening has ever skipped a trip, rushed home early, or spent the whole time worrying about their dog, what would you want them to remember after today's conversation?
To go fill your cup. Your dog is fine. I hope that they hear this story and one, they try out Waggle. And two, I hope that after you check in a few times and you see like this is a habit, your dog is relaxing without you there. I hope that sometimes you can go, instead of checking 5 minutes, you can check every 15 minutes. Set up the notifications on your phone so you don't have to open the app. You're getting those alerts to your phone and you can be checking it quickly. I hope they extend the trip. I hope they hike the extra mile.
I love it. Tell everybody how they can connect with you and learn more about Waggle.
So Waggle TV on social media or mywaggle.com. You can find some more products. I hope you listen to this podcast. I hope you follow along on Emily's journey as she gets into the RV with Fitz as well. I hope you can find her along the road somewhere.
One thing I kept coming back to during this conversation is that peace of mind isn't about caring less. It's about having the confidence to know your dog is safe. For me, that's been one of the biggest shifts. Not because I stopped checking on Fitz, but because when I do check, I know I'm looking for information instead of imagining the worst case scenario. If you'd like to learn more about Waggle's cameras, temperature monitoring, and remote alerts, I've linked everything in the show notes. You can also use code EB65 to save up to 65% on your pet monitoring technology today. So be kind, spread joy, and remember, taking care of yourself doesn't mean you've stopped taking care of your dog.